Hello, welcome back to the review series. I'm joined once again by Cranberry.
I forgot to look up another nickname for Eminem before I started.
It's a B Rabbit.
B Rabbit. Okay, yeah, that was one I looked up before. I think that's his nickname in 8 Mile, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
in that
Have
movie.
you seen 8 Mile?
I have seen 8 Mile.
I haven't seen 8 Mile.
It is okay.
Okay.
There is
Mom
a lot of
Spaghetti.
rap battling.
Mom Spaghetti.
Yeah, it is Mom's Spaghetti movie.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you, Mom's Spaghetti isn't my favorite song from that movie.
I don't know any of the songs other than Mom Spaghetti, so
Yeah.
I can't really weigh in.
I don't even know what Mom's Spaghetti song is called. Anyway, today in this video we're going to go over the clanless cards as well as the relics. And if we're at like an hour and we're still going through the clanless cards, we'll probably split this into 2 videos, but I imagine we're going to get through these clanless cards pretty quick. Without any further ado, would you like to begin?
Let's.
Okay. We're not going through by rarity. I'll show you why right now. I'm going to click the common rarity. Oh wow, it's just a bunch of curses. We're just going to go through as they show up, and I'll point out the rarity as we go, but the rarity of these actually doesn't matter, right? Because most of these are event cards. You don't pick these up anywhere. Pretty much every clanless card is going to be gotten from an event with the exception of the curses and, like, Train Steward, right? Oh, and I guess Excavated Ember.
Yeah, because that's a card that is A, an event, and B, shows up from the Umbra card.
Yeah. Starting us off here with our first X cost. X cost spell, deal 5 times X damage, slay, add a permanent copy of this card to your discard pile. Automatic rail spikes. So, there's a little more foundation to lay with this one because this is an event card. You pick this up from an event. You can choose this or the Spike Driver Colony. This card, after you get 4 copies of it in your deck, it removes after you finish the combat where you get a 4th one of these, you get the event again, and this card gets upgraded. I believe it just gets a flat 10 damage added onto it.
Mm-hmm.
And the slay, add a copy of this card to your discard pile, is removed. How do you feel about this automated rail spikes?
It's okay. I feel like both this and Spike Driver really benefit if you can take the event and then also on the same floor before you start playing it, give it some upgrades, because then all of the copies it adds have those upgrades as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is extremely important.
Yeah.
If you let's say for example you get the event cavern and you on that same track you have a spell shop or a creature upgrade shop, it's definitely worth considering one over the other. If, like, let's say for example you're some sort of Stygian deck that likes spell damage,
right,
Rail Spike will be pretty good for you no matter what, but especially if you can get some good upgrades on it.
Yeah,
like all the other X cards, it likes having a damage upgrade on it because then you can cast it for 0.
Yeah.
And it does, 10 damage, which is cool.
One thing I should add, I just remembered this. When they upgrade, they also get the consume keyword added on them. So once you play your 4th one of these, they all get a consume thrown on top of them.
Mm-hmm.
I almost forgot that. But yeah,
so you don't end up staying in your deck for too long.
Yeah, you get to play these. You basically, in my opinion, if you're taking this, you throw a plus 10 damage on it before you start duplicating them, and then they just become 0 energy, kill an enemy for you. It's like kind of like Mind Collapse in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
The 5 times X, this card honestly is just Mind Collapse, but without the energy gain on it, in my opinion. And sometimes, you play this for 1 to kill a 5 health enemy, but how often?
I'd say it's pretty good also if you're trying to go for spell weakness. If you need to kill units and you're having trouble, in your spell weakness deck, it's a good way to, on the second floor after you apply a spell weakness a couple times, you can probably murder just about anything with X being 2 with a plus 10 damage on it.
That's only it was a
not everything endgame, I guess, but it's okay.
I'm pretty so. This is one of the cards that I don't have a ton of experience with, so I'm not 100% certain on this. However, I believe that the way that this works is when it upgrades, it adds the plus 10 at the end, right? So correct me if I'm wrong.
I thought it was 15x.
I think it's 5x plus 10.
Oh, that's interesting. Never mind then.
Yeah.
The thing I said is probably wrong. Don't use it for that.
This is where it kind of gets obfuscated. I wonder if we can see them with their... No, you can't see them with the upgrades. So I don't know a ton about automatic rail spikes because I never really take it. Because the situations where I take this, I'm like, like basically I would pick this if I'm in a position where it's like, oh wow, I have no direct damage and we're on the 3rd floor, right? But for the most part, I think there's better choices in general, which is why I don't know a ton about it. Maybe I'm sleeping on it.
Should we talk about Spike Driver since they're related events?
Yeah, we may as well go over to Spike Driver
Okay.
while we're here.
Um, I personally like same use case. Like you want to take Spike Driver when you get this event. You want to also immediately upgrade it if you can.
Yeah.
I think there's a better use case for Spike Driver though. It's obviously only got 1 HP, which is scary, but it does only take up 1 space and it carries multi strikes. So you put a +10 on it, put 2 +10s on it, etc., etc. It can start doing work in the right deck.
Yeah.
Specifically in the right deck. As well, this card loses Extinguish after... I guess technically it's not after the 4th death, it's after 4+ deaths, and then the combat ends, right?
Yeah, so at the end of the combat where you get a 4th Spike Driver, you will... Or 4 or more, exactly like you said. So you can get as many of this as you want. If you go into the combat with 3 of them, and you just have them all die, you can leave with 6. But once you have 4 in the deck, you will get the event that upgrades him. He goes from a 0 energy, 1 space, 1/1 with multi-strike 1. I believe he just gets a flat +30 attack, right?
I forget the actual number, but he loses the Extinguish ability.
Yeah, loses the Extinguish ability, same as the automatic rail spikes. The idea being that these multiply until you have 4 of them and then upgrade. I think the best case for Spike Driver, since he has a 1 space 1/1, is you want to slap a large stone on him, make him into a 2 space, doing some pretty good damage.
Yeah.
Maybe throw him another 10 damage on top of that.
He does need some HP, definitely, 100%.
I'm gonna tell you, same feeling towards Spike Driver as I feel towards Rail Spikes. I don't really like him. I think
I've had good luck with him in like a rage focused deck.
Yeah, a lot of the times I feel like the space, because you're given a 4 space on your train, which is a pretty big chunk unless you take space.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest Spike Driver colony proponent, however, he does cause 0. This is a good thing to note.
Yeah, but that's all I got to say about him.
Yeah,
I think when he is strong, he is much stronger than automatic rail spikes really can ever be.
Yeah.
I think automatic rail spikes will be in general better for you because its use case is much more broad. It's just picking off backlines basically.
Yeah, they fill separate roles, right? Rail spikes will do a little overflow damage. It can snipe a backline or maybe a heavy that lived with a little health. And rail spikes is like, I will destroy all that you love. I will do 100 damage around if you give me a large stone. But even that isn't that overwhelmingly good, you know? When in the context of fighting Seraph, just having like 4 guys that do 100 damage per round isn't that great, right? That really that comes out to be 400 damage.
They obviously can't 1v1 Seraph. You need something. You need like a regen tank in front, or you can stick one of these behind Crucible Collector, because especially if you didn't go large stone route, he only takes up 1 space. It's not too hard to sneak him in there.
Yeah, I guess that's his best upside, right? If you know you're not going against something with sweep, you could just throw him 2 +10s, and then he's a 1 space, and he comes out to be a 50 × 2, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, that doesn't sound so bad. 1 space for 100 damage. It's okay. I'm not too hot on him, but you may have different experiences yourself. Shall we move on to the next event?
Yes.
Which is going to be Bone Shine and Bone Rattler here.
Yes.
All right. So we got our next. May as well just review these as like grouped event cards, I suppose, since talk about them as a whole. Because that's the only thing that you have to do is A, you have to find the event, and then B, you have to compare the 2 cards or the 3 cards that you'll see in the event to each other. In this event, colorless, we got Bone Rattler, X cost spell, consume, enhance your pyre with +3 times the amount, or +3 attack times the amount of energy you spend, 3x attack. Or Bone Shine, X cost spell, consume, restore 2x pyre health. Bone Shine's okay. And I've never taken Bone Rattler.
I've also never taken Bone Rattler. I think both of these cards were meant to be played at low Covenant. Like they don't really work. They're not relevant enough at high Covenant, I feel.
Yeah. So if you it's similar to other X costs that affect you outside of combat, the way that Bone Shine you can look at, we'll talk about Bone Shine first because this is the one that I know more about. The way that you can look at Bone Shine is if you have a round where you are completely set up, like say you draw this on the Brief Respite, this card is worth between 6 and 8 health. If you have, if you have something to manipulate the amount of energy gain you have, then this is obviously going to be a lot better. However, on average, this card is probably going to be worth about, I would say, a conservative estimate, let's say it's worth 4 to 6 HP per combat.
On average 4, yeah.
Yeah, on average 4, you'll probably need to play something else ahead of it, and you'll probably get this around 4-3 or 4. So in your best use case, this card is going to be worth about 20 health. Now, is that worth it? Yeah, I mean, maybe that's a Pyre Remains right there. As a result, I have taken this as just like sometimes I have the extra energy to dump. You throw this with a Permafrost, and all of a sudden, it can help you out. And if you have ways to manipulate your energy, it's pretty cool as well.
I still don't like it. I still don't like it that much.
I mean,
I find it to be often not worth the space in the deck.
The way that I look at it, right, it's an X cost with Consume. In the worst case, you just play it for 0 and move on with your day.
That's true. That is true. That is the worst case, but the best case isn't great.
Nah, it's
and
not.
the worst case is not good.
Yeah, I mean, the worst case is dead card.
Yeah, so there is that. And then, I guess, Bone Rattler.
It's like this Bone Rattler is a card for a deck that I never build, which is that Pyre Kill deck, right? Where you daze the enemies before they go in there with like a siren song, and you just stack up daze on them. I never do this.
Yeah, generally, like, the Pyre is doing 30 damage, 3, or 9 more, 12 more, however much more. On top of that, will almost never make the difference.
Yeah, very infrequently will this amount to much. However, I don't know. I'm not really ready to say that I think Bone Rattler is garbage just because I've never taken it. Maybe it'll work out sometimes, but I really think that you mostly take this in a deck. Like, you want this as a card in a deck where you're going hard on, like, dazing enemies and you don't have great damage output.
Okay, I've got a new idea.
Okay.
So you need to generate, like, infinite embers, right? Just infinite energy, right?
Okay, so we're playing Umbra.
Yeah.
We're gonna Kindle.
We just use the Pyre to kill Seraph.
Huh. I wonder if you could do that. Like, straight up, how much? I wonder if you could do that. So if your Pyre, in the best case, has what? I think you start at 80, you get 3 plus 30s, right? So you're at 1. That one? No, I think you end up at 160, right? So you could be.
Let's do some good math here, real quick, right?
Yeah, let's do
there's
the
also
fun
there's the relic that gives you more health.
Mm-hmm. And the armor one.
Yeah, there's the armor one. There's the plus 15 damage, and I imagine as we want to use the vapors as well, right?
Well, that's gonna. Yeah, I mean, I suppose. So how much health are we gonna have? We're gonna have what, like 215-ish? I think is what we're gonna have.
Yeah, actually no, maybe vapors won't be useful. Yeah, it might overall net lower damage.
And Seraph does 30 damage a round. So let's say you have to kill Seraph in 7 rounds. Seraph has 4,000 health on Covenant 25.
Keep in mind, Voix, that we can also, if we want to, remove Consume from Bone Rattler and make it cost 1.
Yeah, but if you have infinite energy generation, so you remove Consume. So your deck is like 3 cards. Your deck is Kindle. It is Kindle again, and Bone Rattler. No, I feel like you need Siren Song in this to not die on the way to Seraph.
That's true. So here's the real deck, right? It's gonna be 3 Kindles.
Maybe, oh my god.
Maybe it'd be 4. I don't know. What's the most we can get? What enhancement are we taking? Are we taking the card draw enhancement so we get more cards in our starting hand?
I mean, no. You gotta just remove every card and you gotta go energy, right?
I don't know what's better, because think about it this way, right? You can go 1 base energy, or you can, in this magical Christmas land, go 1 card draw, and that card be a Kindle.
What about space?
No, we're using the Pyre.
I have a rough estimate of how much attack you need your Pyre to do in order to kill Seraph before Seraph kills it in a straight up full health versus full health battle.
Okay.
You need about 570 to attack on your Pyre.
Okay, so if we get 4 Kindles in our starting hand.
Okay.
So 4 Kindles, we're gonna permafrost. Or I guess we need to permafrost because it's gonna be drawn every turn because we're not playing. We need like 4 Kindles. we need uh Siren Song to daze, and we need to
Yeah.
put like 3 double stacks on it. Oh, you can't do more than one
You
double
can't do
stack,
more
right?
than one double
Okay,
stack.
so we need one double stack on it.
Hey, does double stack work on Kindle? Does that give you 4x your energy?
I don't think energy gain is
Yeah, I don't think so
applicable.
either. So you're double stacking on Siren Song. I mean, so if you're using Siren
Oh,
Song in this,
I figured it out. I
Okay.
figured it out, boys. I figured it out.
Okay,
So,
I'm ready.
we're actually you're gonna hate this. You're gonna hate this.
All right. I hate it already.
But we are going to have to remove consume on all the Kindles,
Oh my god.
and we're gonna need ice cream.
How are you going to see this many energy shops? Or
Shush.
magic shops?
Shush. So
You need 4 consume removals, and you need double stack. That's 5 upgrades. Okay, no, you don't, because you just need to consume. Okay, so you're going to need to see the Bone Rattler event, and you're going to need to see Kindle, you're going to need to remove consume from Kindle, and then you're going to need the event that multiplies it 5 times.
exactly, yes.
And then
So
you
do that. You just
Mhm.
generate so much energy, right? And with
Uh-huh.
ice cream, every turn you're just going boom, 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 boom. I think for this you'll actually need the vapors to stop enemy units from getting up there
Okay.
and killing your fire. But I think this is actually possible.
Okay, now, what if instead, with all of that energy, you just used, like, I don't know, Forever Consumed and killed Seraph instantly?
The shush.
You only need like 120 energy to kill Seraph with one Forever Consumed.
I think this is possible.
It's possible, but like, oh my
I'm
god.
gonna do this. I'm gonna do this, Voix.
All
I'm
right,
gonna
I
make it
mean,
my life mission
Do
to kill
this.
Seraph with the pyre using Bone Rattler and 8 Kindles.
Yeah, I think that in this situation, you're actually going to want the Vapor Funnel, because the Vapor Funnel, like, you'll just one shot them no matter what.
Yeah, I think that's the plan. This is like I think it could work.
All right. Closing thoughts on Bone Rattler and Bone Chime.
It's the best card. It can 1v1 Seraph.
With just a little support, Bone Rattler is the best card in the game because it kills Seraph without any other assistance. Easy.
Yes.
I think that both of these cards are very situational on average. However, you can theory craft some fun stuff. The next event is the Gift of Gratitude Petty Theft event, and then the other option from this event is actually a relic. Oh, you're going to want that relic in this build, by the way. The relic that gives you damage on your pyre based on your money.
Oh, you're right.
So let's talk about Gift of Gratitude versus Petty Theft, right? Gift of Gratitude, X cost spell, it purges and gives you 30 gold per energy spent on it. And then Petty Theft is a 1 energy spell, deal 2 damage to an enemy unit. If it kills that unit, gain 50 gold.
And then I guess also we should talk about the relic where it's like it's 10. Is it 10 damage?
I mean, let's just take a
10
little peeks here. Where is it?
gold?
Relics.
10 gold, pretty sure is the rate.
This is an event relic. It is Heaven's Gold. 1 for every 10 gold you have, the pyre gains +1 attack. First of all, I've never taken Heaven's Gold. I'll just get that out of the way. Let's talk about that real quick.
I've also never done that.
Because you spend all your money. There's no reason to take this.
Yeah.
Back to where we were. Gift of Gratitude versus Petty Theft. I think that Petty Theft is a torch that they added Slay +50 on, right? Get that understood. However, there is one thing I would like to note. I picked this up from Jorbs' Monster Train spreadsheet that he has a ton of information in. Petty Theft actually allows you to open another event. There's an event with, the 2 lock treasure chest event where you have to sacrifice pyre health to pick the lock.
Yes, I've never gotten that after picking up Petty Theft.
Yeah, but apparently you can use Petty Theft to open the lock without taking any damage, and it purges Petty Theft from your deck.
That's cool. How much money do you get from doing the event?
I think I have no idea. I think it's...
I want to say it's 250 gold or something.
That's what I was thinking as well, if you take the big one. But in the context that we're in here, Petty Theft versus Gift of Gratitude, if you have no direct damage, Petty Theft is cool, because you can just slap a +10 on it. And otherwise, I mean, Gift of Gratitude is typically going to be 90 if you have an energy relic, maybe 120 gold right up front, right for you to spend. If you have a way to manipulate your energy, it's a lot of money. And you don't have to think about it anymore, right? You're not adding a card to your deck. It does purge forever.
Yeah, it is. It is once you cash it, it is gone.
It is money.
So I generally think, the mindset is petty theft is better earlier because you can get more gold over time. If you're near the end of the game, I usually just take gifts of gratitude. Like I've had this show up on like floor 7 this event. And I'm just like, oh
yeah,
I'll just take the money, I guess, from gift of gratitude.
Yeah, I think that's the exact
way better. I think
the exact way to go about it, right? Petty theft versus gift of gratitude early on, or if you're like in desperate need of a way to ping enemies, this is fine. It gives you a little money. It'll probably, if you get it early enough, it'll probably equate to somewhere in the range.
It's pretty bad even like late though. Like it's gonna stop killing things pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean you gotta put a +10 on it.
Mm-hmm.
This card is basically Antumbra Assault, right? Except with a different effect. One important thing to note here as well about petty theft: it is to an enemy unit. You cannot farm your own units with this thing. Don't try it.
Boo.
Yeah, boo. That's all there is to say about it, though. Really, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gift of Gratitude's cool later on. It's free money. Petty Theft is cool early on, or if you really need damage. The next event is the Blessed Sword, Holy Shield, Petrified Skull event. So, Blessed Sword, X cost spell, Purge, Piercing, deal 10x damage to enemy units. Holy Shield, X cost spell, Purge, apply 3x damage shield. And Petrified Skull, 0 energy, Purge, kill a non-boss unit. The important thing to note about these cards is if you hold on to them for two combats without playing them, you get a relic that removes Purge from your cards in your deck. It is an effect. We may as well just go talk about the relic real quick, right? Because the wording on it is important. It is this flower, Hope for Peace. Cards with Purge have Consume instead. I wonder...
Be careful.
Yeah, be careful. But also, like, think about if you get this after Gift of Gratitude, right?
You can get a lot of money.
However, is that good? I don't know.
Yeah, it is dead weight in the Seraph fight.
Yeah.
It does nothing.
I mean, it's not quite dead weight because you can get rid of it.
I don't mean the literal card dead weight.
I
it
see.
is dead weight in your deck. Sorry.
I see.
It is a empty card.
Right.
When you get to the last fight, I guess, unless you somehow also have the relic that gives you more gold damage.
Which I don't think.
Know how you done this.
That's incredible. How'd you do that? So of these three, I basically always take the most Blessed Sword because dealing 10 piercing damage to all enemies is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, it's very good. It's extremely good.
That's real good.
I've only had the event once, and I've only taken Petrified Skull because I think the deck that I had it in already had a lot of backline damage.
Yeah.
So I needed something to kill tanks afterwards. And in that case, I think Petrified Skull is better. I think the shield is just the worst between them.
Well,
but there's a use case again. Like the shield is good if you're having an issue with relentless combats because it'll give you a lot of turns against the boss.
Yeah, I think that of these three, if you have the X+3 relic, you want to take the shield because that is just in worst case 9 damage shield, which is a ton of damage shield.
Yeah.
But paying 3 energy and passing your whole turn for 9 damage shield, I'm not so keen on unless you're right ahead of a relentless combat, like you said. I think that all three of these have their position, right? Because you get to target with Petrified Skull, you get to just straight up once per combat remove an enemy. And a lot of times if your big struggle is like, oh, 2 heavy spawn and one of them always bleeds through, Petrified Skull answers that. Blessed Sword for killing backline and Holy Shield for dealing with bosses, right? They actually, each one of them does one of the three.
I was going to say that, yeah.
You're
they do
right.
one of the 3 most important things. It's really cool because they give you coverage for what you're lacking.
I agree.
One thing I guess we can talk about real quick is that, I mean, I'm not certain about it, but I'm now thinking that I was wrong about this. But when we first started playing Monster Train, I had thought that that certain events were locked behind certain Covenant levels.
Right.
Because I think both you and I didn't see this event until fairly late in the game, right? For the first time.
For sure.
I hadn't seen it until about 15ish, and I think you were probably around 15 as well when you first saw it.
Mm-hmm.
The other day, I don't know if you remember this, but our good friend Inu was playing Monster Train, and he's only around level Covenant 2 or 3, I think.
Okay.
And he got this event.
Oh. Well,
so I think we're wrong about that theory. I think
Right.
the events are just maybe rare.
Yeah. I mean,
There's different rarities for the events showing up.
I wonder if the event rarity is linked to the rarity of the cards you get from the event, because these are all rare cards, and so are the Bone Shine Bone Rattler.
I've seen Bone Rattler and Bone Shine about 1 million times,
Yeah,
so
that's
I don't
true.
think so.
I think. You know what else it might be? Is it might just be that you tend to go on a path that gives you an event, like at a certain point in the game, and there is definitely precedence for certain events not showing up after a certain point in the game, right? So maybe you tend to take later events or earlier events or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That could be it as well.
Also, I guess in theory, when you think about it, if this event shows up much later, you're probably dead before you get to it. Sometimes, so
Sometimes.
you get less views at those late game events.
Yeah. In general, most Blessed Sword, Petrified Skull, and Holy Shield, you just kind of take the one that answers which question you need answered, right? Kill heavies, kill backline, and also Blessed Sword kills tanks. Don't forget piercing. You play 2 energy for this, and it crushes through. And I believe Holy Shield you can double stack, and this gives you 6x damage shield, which is pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I do want to mention before you mentioned the X+3 relic. It's also pretty good with Blessed Sword too.
Yeah,
maybe not as crazy as with Holy Shield, but like pretty good then as well.
It just turns it into like you play this at 0 cost. You can get the X+3 relic on Blessed Sword is like the same thing as getting a +10 attack on it, in my opinion. True. You know, with a little more use case, right? Because this does become 60 damage AoE, which could help chip away at some heavies depending on where you are in the game. But typically, it's going to be not enough, in my opinion. Up next, it is no cost. There is no cost text here because this card is unplayable. Reserve, restore 5 pyre health. This is a spell. Bone Dog's Favor. The last card I ever found, and I think you have not found it. Is that correct?
Yeah, I haven't gotten it yet.
So let's talk about, first of all, how do you get this card? And this is a great question. The answer is I've seen this card twice, and both times I've seen this card, I've seen it from the event where you're at that collapsing merchant shop, where the collapsing merchant, where it's like you get to pick a consumable from a clan. And every time I have taken it, I've gotten this card, I've gotten it from taking Stygian. I believe that from the flavor text, it makes me believe that he just is able to show up from that random consumable merchant event, and that's it, and it doesn't really matter, but I've only ever seen him from Stygian. If you have conflicting information, please let me know. There is really nothing.
That just sounds like a coincidence, probably.
Yeah, I think it is a coincidence as well. I think it just shows up from that event randomly. There is really nothing to say about Bone Dog's Favor. It just heals you. There is not really a good reason to pass this card. If you throw it Permafrost, this heals you every single round because it says reserve, restore 5 pyre health, which means that if this card is in your hand at the end of the turn, it triggers this effect. So if you throw Permafrost on this, as soon as you draw it, this heals you for 5 for every round, forever. It's great.
That's cool, yeah. Just one measly little upgrade makes it amazing.
Otherwise, it's just going to heal you probably 5 to 10 health per combat, which eat your fucking heart out, Bone Shine. I don't even have to pay energy for this shit.
Yeah, that's kind of why I don't like Bone Shine.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I really have to say about Bone Dog's Favor. Anything you'd like to add?
I don't have it. What do you want me to add?
Yeah, I don't know. I want to open the floor. Up next, I really don't even know if we have to say anything about this, but Deadweight, unplayable, unpurgeable. Curse.
Why do you think it's unplayable?
What?
Why do you think it's unplayable? And why is that relevant? Is there an issue with? Is there like some sort of synergy with playing? Oh, there is. There's the
playing blights. Yeah,
the blight,
right.
Calcified Ember event thing where whenever you play a blight, you deal 100 damage.
Yeah.
Okay, that answered my question.
Yeah, you get these you get 2 of these starting on Covenant 25. I don't know exactly which Covenant level you start to see 2 of them. You get 1 of them at like Covenant 2, though. I know. It's just a curse.
I think I might have misspoke. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, it's whenever you play your first Blighty's turn, restore 5 pyre health is one of the events, and then there's one where whenever you play is it consume or when you play whenever you play a blight 100 damage. Okay.
Yep. I mean, it sucks, and there's nothing you can do about Deadweight. The only way you can remove this card from your cycle is through Sacrificial Resurrection with Melting Remnant, and there's no way to get it out of your deck otherwise, as far as I have found. That's it. There is, I guess, we can talk about the difference between a Blight and a Scourge now, right? Which is just that Blights are cards that you have added to your deck, and Scourges are cards that the enemies add to your deck, with the exception, there's one exception to this rule, Vengeful Shards will get added to your deck by Seraph the Diligent, which is the one that purges spells.
Purple.
Yeah, purple. Seraph, I don't actually know what colors they are, to be honest with you. I just see their names.
I only know what colors they are.
That's incredible. There's the only enemy in the game that adds blights into your deck is that Seraph, the Seraph that consumes your spells. So if you're against that one, you can take relics that have something to do with blight. with confidence that you will have some blights.
I mean, the obvious parallel to Deadweight is Ascender's Bane and Slay the Spire, although Ascender's Bane is much more polite and leaves your deck after the first cycle.
Yeah.
Deadweight never leaves.
Deadweight is just 2 dead draws. This is the card that makes every draw card with an enhance on it suck.
I think that you get what? The first one at C2, right?
Yes.
And then like I forget when you get the second one, but like somewhere C20-ish or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, pretty late. I think it might, if I were to take a guess, I'd say 17.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it. Deadweight sucks.
Not fun.
Not fun, no. I love drawing this card with an enhanced card, like Pyre Grow. Don't you?
I love Pyre Grow. Family is not being held hostage by Pyre Grow.
Yeah, there is a card definitely not behind me with a gun. 0 energy, spell, consume, gain 2 energy, draw 1, Excavated Ember. We kind of talked about this with the Umbra card that adds 3 of these to your deck. There are other ways to get them as well. You know.
I mean, specifically an event where it gives you 3 Calcified Embers, and then if you don't get rid of them, they get turned into these.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Yeah, I mean, at that event, you basically just have to decide if you want to go a few rounds with 3 more dead draws, and then your reward is Excavated Ember in your deck. The difference being from playing Ember Cache discards them, you will just draw into these on your first cycle and gain some energy. You know, if you have a lot of X cards, probably want to consider it, because 2 energy is nice.
So we should talk about, I guess, should we talk about just Calcified Ember and the 2 events that it's related to, I guess, next?
I mean, there's only one event that I think you can get Excavated Ember from, right?
Well, there's the event that gives you Excavated Ember. There's 2 events that give you Calcified Embers.
I mean, yeah, why not? So Calcified Ember is a 3 energy blight that is just a purge. You pay 3 energy, and then this is removed from your deck forever.
Mm-hmm.
These are added from 2 events, as Cranberry said.
The Penance Yard, and then the other one that gives you the Excavated Embers, which I forget the name of the actual event for it. But,
I don't know. Actually, off the top.
Basically, the event where you get 3 Calcified Embers in your deck can give you the Relic, where whenever you play a blight, you deal 100 damage.
Yes.
Right? The front enemy.
That event.
In theory, you could combine those events and then get 6 Calcified Embers in your deck, and then get them all removed and get 6 Excavated Embers. But at that point, that's excessive.
You could also, like, if you have nothing better to duplicate, you could duplicate a Calcified Ember to turn it into an Excavated Ember.
Or you could just duplicate the Excavated Embers.
Yeah, but like, you know, if you get a duplicate ahead of time, like ahead of the transformation, because I believe it's 2 combats of Calcified Embers. And so I was like, oh, I have nothing better to duplicate. You just duplicate this. Hey, I got an extra Ember down the line, but, you know, make sure that doesn't kill you. It's fine.
My general rule of thumb is that because I don't like the other event options too much from both of those events, I generally take the Embers.
Right.
But I don't know.
I think that in the Penance Yard, it's pretty much almost always worth it to just take the 3 Calcified Embers, because you get the artifact that goes with it. The artifact being play a blight, deal 100 damage. If you're against Seraph, the Spell Devour, it's always worth, because that Seraph puts 3 1-cost blights into your deck that just become 3 1-cost, deal 100 damage to the front enemy cards. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I think I like the... Oh my goodness.
Is that your phone?
That is my phone. No one ever calls, and then, you know, hey, I'm recording. Oh, time to make a phone call. I hate it. But, you know, we move on. Calcified Embers. I like the other event option from the one that turns these into Excavated Embers a lot more.
It depends on if I need energy or not, obviously.
Yeah.
It always varies.
The other one is, by the way, it's Abandoned Stav, which is +1 energy per turn for every 2 blight cards in your deck. And taking this also adds in 2 of the Vengeful Shards. So if you're on Covenant 25, that is a...
I was going to say, you know what? I haven't played too much of the higher Covenants. That's going to be +2 energy, isn't it?
Yes, it is +2 energy.
Okay. I get the use case now.
And even if you just burn out the Vengeful Shards at your next removal, you just get +1 energy for free. As a result, I typically take that just because it's energy for free. And Excavated Embers are like, eh. But on lower Covenants, I can see taking Excavated Embers, right? When you're not starting, when that doesn't give you 2 energy. That's more or less it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Excavated Ember. Mostly, you get this card from the Umbra Ember cache, because getting it from the events is kind of weird. I think that's it, unless you have anything else you'd like to add about either of these, Calcified Ember or Excavated Embers.
I have nothing else to add.
Alright, up next is, it's the Trap Shoot and the Claw.
Yeah.
So, Trap Shoot, 0 cost spell, consume, descend a unit to the bottom floor, apply Dazed 2, or Steel Pulleyclaw, 2 energy spell, consume, ascend an enemy unit to the Pyre Room, apply Dazed 3. These are, you choose one or the other at an event. Which one do you tend to go for, Cranberry?
I like the Pulleyclaw more because the art is cooler, and I like the concept of just like one person just getting clawed up to the top.
Yeah, someone gets absolutely yeeted.
Yeah, it's basically a kill spell.
In the early game.
Yeah, in the early game, and then in the late game it kills any non-tank, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, or, I mean, heavies survive it. The 190 boys will live through this.
But they will also die, still.
I mean, yeah, but they're gonna beat the shit out of your Pyre. You're gonna take like 20 damage for this.
Yeah.
But
Trap Shoot, I think, is the better of the two, but I'm not certain about it. So I don't know for it's tough. They're both good.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I would always take one of the two.
Yeah, always take one of the two as well. Because Trap Shoot's free, right? There's no real reason not to take this, and sometimes it's huge. Trap Shoot is like you're pushing the problem off to another day, right? You drop an enemy away, and then 2 turns later, they're back. And they're in another wave, and the wave is a little stronger, but the enemy is dazed. However, by the time they dazed 2, no matter where you drop them from, they will be undazed by the time they get to the Pyre. Steel Pulleyclaw, just choose a unit, remove them from the combat. I think that Steel Pulleyclaw is a little better, honestly, because it depends on your build, right? If you can't deal, usually you're going to be using this on a heavy, so like, oh man, this heavy's in a bad spot. Or you use it on a tank with 0 attack and you just remove them from the combat.
Yeah,
they're either
that's always fun.
Yeah,
it's always fun.
You either just pull a tank up to the top with Pulleyclaw and they die for free, or you drop them to the bottom floor in the back and they don't do anything because they're in the back, right?
Mm-hmm. I guess something to take note of too is that Trap Shoot can be used on your own units. It almost acts kind of like a reverse Tiresome Climb.
Yeah, kinda.
And do you think either of these are good for the remove consume upgrade?
Yeah, I actually have one of the early Monster Train runs on this channel is a Trap Shoot. I remove consume and then reduce the cost, and I think I gave it holdover and duplicated it, and I just stacked like 20 dazed on Seraph.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, it was pretty cool because basically every turn I would just drop 2 enemies and I would just kill them all one at a time. And so it is a very strong contender for remove consume. The effect is good at 1 energy without consume on it, right? So it's strong for that. I think you would not remove consume from Pulleyclaw because that 3 energy, this effect kind of sucks.
Yes, I agree.
But yeah, you take one or the other typically, because even in the worst case, right? If you can't use Pulleyclaw, Trap Shoot is still a free card that you use once to just drop an enemy. Strong contender for Permafrost for both of them. Double stack as well, because you can double up that daze number. 6 dazed on that Pulleyclaw, all of a sudden you're going, oh baby. I think that's all I have to say about that, right?
I agree.
All right, almost through the clanless cards here. We got Dante and Dante's Candle next. So Dante the Deceptive, 1 energy, 3 attack, 10 health, 2 space. When played, gain a stack of multi-strike for each blight card in your deck. So the way that Dante works is you'll get an event where he runs up to your train, and your options are to take 3 of Dante's candles, and he'll come back later. If you take 3 of Dante's candles in 2 combats, Dante joins your train, and he gives you a relic, which I will just bring up right now. it is this one, Dante's Cloak, which gives you +2 magic power for every blight card in your deck, and you also get Dante the card, which is gain multi-strike per blight. So he gives you 3 candles. The candles are 1 energy, unpurgeable, and if they stay in your hand at the end of turn, you take 3 damage. But Dante himself will be a baseline 5 multi-strike unit, and all of your magic power is increased by 10, I believe. Baseline.
At High Covenant.
Yeah, this is on all, basically everything we're talking about here is at Covenant 25, right?
Yeah.
At least from my perspective. Whatever your highest Covenant is.
I will have you know, actually, I was playing a bit today. I'm at Covenant 23 now.
Oh, let's go. You're almost there. 24 isn't so bad. The only real bad one left is 25. But yeah, Dante, I don't take him. Do you take Dante?
I've taken Dante a lot, and I've had him win for me, but it's been a while. Like I was gonna say this. I think that at higher covenants, I'm taking the events less often because I now kind of know what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And I'm never relying on a specific event to carry me.
Right.
So I don't prioritize the events too highly to begin with.
Yeah, I'm with you. Especially.
But, that being said, I've had Dante tear things up for me sometimes.
I gotta tell you, I have not.
I've had Dante with like 6 multi-strike and 50 damage because I buffed him up enough. Like if you like, I know you don't play Rage at all, but I've had times where I've been in that Rage build and I just gave him like 10 Rage. He wins the fight.
That sounds pretty good. However, the only circumstance that I ever had Dante, I was against the Seraph that saps, and Dante with 5 multi-strike doing 10 damage per round made me have a bad taste in my mouth, even though I gave him a bunch of buffs.
That is true, and I will say also, I don't know how early or late Dante shows up, but if you get this event as late as possible, I imagine it might not be too good. Although it might be a specific floor. I don't know how his event.
Yeah, I actually don't know either.
Also, doesn't he have to go 2 combats with the candles? It's not just 1, right?
Yeah, I think it's 2. I think it's 2. Is one? I think it's 2. It's typically 2 in these events.
Either way, 3 blights in your deck is nothing to sneeze at, right?
Yeah,
that's a big chunk of dead cards.
And also, like, they aren't just like dead weights. They are, if you don't spend energy on this, you take 3 damage.
Yes.
So if you just try to ignore these, and you can't remove them, and if you just try to ignore these, they are going to do 9 damage to you every time you draw through your deck. They really die. Like, I think the main reason I don't think Dante is because his 3 candles, right, is like, oh man, I like to play decks that are around 20 to 25 cards, and if like 6 of those cards are blights, that opens you up to some real bad circumstances once you draw through the deck.
When I first started playing the game, I got Dante a couple times pretty early, and it took me maybe my 3rd or 4th try to actually live long enough after taking his candles to actually see what he does.
Yeah.
I do think that, and also we haven't talked about it that much, like the magic power is pretty nice.
Yeah, 10 magic power is sweet.
Insane. We always talk about how like, oh, this card would be good if you put the spell upgrade on it, right? The damage upgrade on it, etc., etc. All of your cards now have that upgrade. That's pretty nuts.
Yeah. It is pretty nuts, I agree.
I think though that if you're like a combo that like you only really need to use one of those 2 benefits to be useful. You either like the spell power change or upgrade, or you like Dante as like a potential DPS in your deck. If you have neither of those conditions, I wouldn't take Dante and try to turn him into one. Or start using that ability. Like specifically, I guess Umbra Melting. If you're a combo of those 2, you really have no use for Dante. Dante doesn't fit your deck. If you are even just like just Awoken at all of your starting cards now go from healing 2 to healing 12.
Yeah, it almost turns Frozen Lance into a good card.
Close for Frozen Lance, but like, I'll actually then include I'll include Stygian in that list. If you are Hellhorned or Awoken, I think Dante is a pretty good pick. If you are neither of those 2, be careful about Dante.
Yeah, I agree.
He's been a freaking like 56 for me. 50 times 6, like that's good.
I believe that you had this happen as well, where if you're against the Seraph that adds blights into your deck, he does gain more multi-strike, right?
Oh, That's true too. Yes, yes, yes.
But
I had that happen to me. Yeah, because I didn't even realize that Seraph put blights into your deck.
mhm.
I went with Dante. I'm like, what? Dante, why are you hitting for more than usual? What did I miss?
Yeah, and I mean that's it, right? I think he's better against Seraph the Chase, or not the Chase, Seraph the Diligent, the one that adds the blights to your deck, and I think he's really bad against the Seraph that saps you because he just becomes worthless. He has no way to scale. Those flat damage gets owned.
Rage is good with multi-strike. Sap is obviously good against multi-strike.
Yeah. That's it, right? Dante good?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, because I'm looking at how long we've been recording here, I think what we should do is we should just pivot this into, like, we finish talking about Colorless Cards, and then we can just talk about the rest of the events that we didn't cover.
Okay.
And then we'll just, do Relics in another video. I think that's the best way to go about it, because if we do Relics from this point, we're probably going to go on to, like, 2 hours again.
Understood.
All right. Up next, I mean, do you want to talk about the Scourges? Do you have anything you want to say about the Scourges? Self-mutilation, Sinner's Burden, Weight of Contrition, Ultimate Penance?
They're annoying.
Yeah, they suck.
They get put into your deck by the Priest Boys, by one of the versions of Fel, and by anyone else. Does one of the Seraphs do it? Maybe?
No, Seraph puts Vengeful Shards on you.
Okay. They're annoying. Oh, the guys with the chains. Those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's the Absolver Boys. So there's a boss that does it. The boss who is named Thoughtbinder on 4/4. When he kills an enemy, he adds self-mutilation to your deck. There is the little goons that I think they're called Absolvers, which are 1/5s that add self-mutilation. Oh, I think they might add Weight of Contrition actually. But yeah, you'll see, right? This doesn't sneak up on you. You can hover over the enemies. It's either a resolve or a slay. They add a curse. The most important thing to note about these is that they are put on top of your deck.
You will draw them.
Yes, you are 100% to draw them.
And we did say it before, just to clarify again, just to make sure, Scourges and Blights are different. So any of your Blight synergies, these do not. These have, I mean, no synergies, right? Nothing benefits you to, like, play a Scourge, other than getting rid of it, obviously.
Yeah. You pay your energy, you get rid of this, you don't take the damage, it is purged from your deck. That's it, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's all there is to say about them, right? So that knocks out almost everything. Let's talk about Vengeful Shard real quick. I don't think there's anything else to add, just the one energy blight.
Keep it right over my boy Train Stewart.
Yeah, I want to finish strong.
Okay.
Anything you want to talk about Vengeful Shard with real quick? One energy blight. This is added by Seraph and a few events.
Yeah, like they're not bad, I guess.
Yeah, 1 damage isn't that big of a deal.
Important to note that playing them does not purge them.
Right. This is in your deck for the entire combat.
Exactly. So they will come back in the next cycle.
Yeah, it doesn't purge them and it doesn't consume them. So you do have to continuously pay the upkeep. The only reason to really keep these in your deck, because they are not unpurgeable like Dante's Candle, the only reason to keep these in is if you have some sort of a blight synergy, right? Pay a blight, like one of the 2 event relics that give you a blight synergy, basically. Yeah. Then you keep this. Otherwise, just get rid of them. But you don't really, like, you will only get these from a beneficial event or Seraph the Diligent.
I was thinking about it. Is there a worse card to have Permafrost on? I guess maybe Ultimate Penance is the literal worst card for Permafrost.
Yeah, but like you
can't put it on this.
Yeah, so you can't Permafrost Ultimate Penance. So the worst card to Permafrost.
You probably can't upgrade Blights either. I guess you can use Permafrost with
the card.
Yeah,
you could freeze it.
Okay, yeah.
The worst one would be Dante's Candle, though.
Mm-hmm.
Vengeful Shard would be pretty bad though as well, right? It's the opposite of Bone Dog's Favor.
Well, actually, no. In that case, can you?
Nah.
Froze the Scourges?
No, because Bone Dog's Favor is tagged as a spell. The Scourges and Blights are tagged. Or I guess you could freeze a Scourge, right? In the same way. You're right.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not certain. I've never tried.
I have frozen some Blights. I've never frozen a Scourge though.
We'll have to
No.
Test that out.
No.
No. Okay. Well, I guess we'll never know.
We'll never know. Oh no. Now we don't get to know if you can kill yourself over 10 turns with Permafrost. Oh geez. Our final Colorless card here, he's not an event card, he is the best boy. 1 energy, 5 attack, 8 health, 2 space. Train Steward. Yeah, he sucks. Yeah.
I think there's an important thing to say about Train Steward.
Uh-huh.
That in the very, very literal early game, Train Stewards are better than your starter cards.
Typically,
But
yeah.
typically, yes. But they should still be your first removal target. Almost always over your starter cards, with few exceptions, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it flexes based on your deck. I'll remove Frozen Lance before Train Steward if you have literally no space, right? Because Train Steward is a consume card. He is a unit. You just throw him down and he dies. So it's not that big of a deal if you hold on to him in the mid to late game.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's probably one of the. 95% of the time I remove these before my starters. I think.
yeah, the only
The number one target for removal, other than I don't know. I don't even know what else I remove before him.
Frozen Lance, Shade Splitter in a deck where they don't make any sense.
That's true too. Yeah.
Right, just bad spells. Torches can go before Train Steward, things like that.
They do have a specific relic that buffs them.
It's not great.
Yeah,
but
again, it makes them even stronger in the early game. Lets you take probably a couple trials early too, but it has no effect basically end game.
Yeah, Train Steward, he's
he tries his best.
He's a good chump blocker.
Mm-hmm.
He'll take a hit for you, Mr. President. Get down.
Great chump blocker because he takes up 2 space.
Yeah, but like he's okay. He tries.
He does try his best.
I think that's it for clanless cards, right?
Is there a secret one?
I don't think so. Ultimate Penance, Steel Pulley Claw, Calcified Ember. We got them all. Let's talk. We can may as well run through the events real quick since we already went through about half of them.
Okay.
I've got the sheet up here, so I'll just tell you the event that we're going to be talking about. And I will link to this sheet in the description. This is by streamer Jorbs. Very, very useful spreadsheet with a ton of information in it if you're looking to get better. I'll link this to you real quick as well if you want to.
Yes, please.
Here, just in case. So there are 22 total events in this game. Most of these we have spoken on in some capacity already, so we can probably get through this pretty quickly, right? Up first here is the Train Graveyard. You get one of 3 choices from this. This is lose 3 health to upgrade a unit with plus 25 HP. Lose 6 health and you get I believe it's an artifact. When your pyre kills a unit, restore 5 pyre health, and then lose 10 health. Friendly units get plus 10 health and get the Heartless keyword, which means they cannot heal. That is definitely an artifact. Let's see here. Yeah, I guess we'll just end up going over the event relics, right? So you can pay 10 HP to get Petrified Heart, which is friendly units get plus 10 health and Heartless, so they can't be healed. You can pay 6 health for Blood. When your pyre kills a unit, restore 5 health, and 3 health, you just get one of the plus 25 stones from a shop. How do you feel about this event?
I almost always take the health.
The plus 25?
Specifically the plus 25, yes, not the relic.
I think that I take the 25 usually, and sometimes I'll look at it and I'll go, okay, I'm playing like Stygian and Melting. None of my units heal anyway, right? And then I'll take plus 10 across.
That is the other time, and I feel like more often than not, I'll take the stone, the HP stone still, but I don't know. It definitely does depend. An important thing to note as well, the HP stone lets you over upgrade units if they're already at capacity. Also, I've never tried this while having the 3 slots filled already. Can you put a 4th slot?
Yeah, I mean, the events let you go over. I imagine you would be allowed to do a 4th one. However, I'm not 100% certain of that.
I have never tried it.
Yeah, me neither.
They do let you go if you only have 2 slots. You can go from 2 to 3 using this event.
Right.
Which is a cool little thing.
Have you ever taken the pyre kills a unit to restore 5 pyre health?
I mean, I'm going to in that Bone Shine.
Oh God.
Strat.
All right.
But I don't think I've ever actually taken it.
Me neither. I think one of the other 2 is almost always better. Just keep in mind that they do cost you health.
Yes.
The next one, Rail of the Covenant. You either get to get Monster Rail Spike, plus 20 attack, plus 20 health, and Purge on a unit, or Spell Rail Spike, Magic Power, plus 20, and Purge, and reduce the cost of the card to 0. or you can take neither.
Mm-hmm.
I typically just take a monster rail spike. I always see this event in the second floor, and I usually take this, throw it on a train steward, and make a 25-28 train steward to face off against Daedalus.
Yeah, this is a great event because it's free card removal basically.
Yeah, this is just a card removal.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
I've definitely used it on spells as well. I've had times where I've gotten this after removing all my train stewards, and I'll just put it on a starter card.
Yeah.
I guess in theory you can have. I mean, I've never had it happen where I've just had no starter cards that can be upgraded, or I've gotten rid of all my train stewards and stuff. Is it ever worth putting this on, like, I guess in the literal sense, it's worth getting this on a unit if it's like, okay, I'm on floor 8. I don't know how I've gotten this event on floor 8. Or I guess maybe floor 7, right? Realistically, you get this on floor 7. Do you put this on a unit and then try to avoid playing it, beat the floor 7 boss, and then play it against Seraph with a monster spike on it?
No.
Yeah, it's too risky, probably.
No. It's just a +20/+20. What unit are you having that is not is so unimportant that you can still win floor 7 combat with, but is important enough that getting this +20/+20 matters, right? Dante. Sure. No.
I would say Dante, yes, but
I mean,
but you are correct in that the case for it is extremely narrow.
Yeah. I usually just use this to remove a train steward or one of your starting spells, and that's pretty much it, right? Always take it.
Yeah.
Next up here, let's see, blacksmith done, train yard done. We already talked about those cards. The crystals. Yes. This is you get to get an upgrade. You either get the large crystal, which gives you a major refraction, make a unit +30 attack, +30 health, and +2 space, or minor refraction, make a unit 1 space. Or you just take neither. Basically, take the major refraction if you have people watching who have their instincts reduced to please make unit big, haha, he big. Otherwise, take the minor refraction because +2 capacity is suicide on almost every certain situation.
I wouldn't say every circumstance, but I do agree that it is scary. I think if you get this event early game, you can take the +2 large stone, just put it on a unit, and then kind of like build around it, I guess.
Yeah, but like
it's tough. Also, like just reducing a unit's capacity to 1 is only good.
Yeah, it's pure good.
Major refraction is sometimes good and often bad. But I will say I've had times where major refraction has like been real good. And I've had times where minor refraction has more or less done nothing, but it hasn't been negative. It is just not negative, unless you have a 0 space unit. How have you done this?
Yeah, yeah, no, that's impossible. I think the major refraction is very bad, but it does make your unit look very silly, and that's important. But like pretty much just always take the small one, right?
I'm still not on the always small though. I think there is some. I'd say 10% of the time you take big stone, 90% of the time you take small stone.
Here's an interesting note from the spreadsheet from someone. You cannot put big stone on Shadow Siege. Apparently, there is a cap on how large a unit is allowed to become.
This is bullshit.
All right. Anything else you want to say about the crystals before we move on?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
All right.
One more thing.
Okay,
Sorry.
Go on.
Like the other upgrade, the HP upgrade, you can over upgrade units with this too.
Yeah, every single event upgrade that upgrades a unit, you can go past the unit upgrade slot to 3 to 4 to 5 to however many. All right. Up next, these events, there's not a whole lot to say, right? Cave of 1,000 Eyes, you get to choose between offering 25 gold or 5 health, and you get a percent chance to get an artifact that increases the more health or gold you offer. They're interchangeable, so it starts at 10%, then 25%, then 50%, then 75% to get an artifact, paying 25 gold or 5 health interchangeably. Typically I tend to pay like health if I have it.
It depends.
Yeah, like if you're gonna die from it, don't do it, obviously.
Yeah.
But getting an artifact is good. paying health. Trading life for artifact is not a situation that you get to face very often. Well, depending on how you look at it, you get to face it a lot by taking a trial that gives you an artifact, but this is a very straightforward, like, you'll probably pay on average 15 health or 75 gold to get an artifact, which is good. Or interchangeably, right? 5 health and 50 gold, 10 health and 25 gold.
You can mix and match. One thing to note too is that if you get to the 75% chance and it fails, it does let you do it again at the 75% rate.
Right, yeah, you get to keep going. Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe there's a limit, but I've only ever failed 75% once.
Yeah.
And the second try it worked for me, so I don't know.
Yeah, you can do that. I think you can do this as long as you want. Next up, unless you have anything else.
No.
Alright. The Ornate Chest, which we hinted at when talking about petty theft. You either pay 25 health to get 150 gold, 5 health to get 25 gold, or you give up your petty theft if you have it for 175 gold. Or you do nothing.
So I didn't even know about the petty theft thing. So
yeah, I did not know about that until I saw this.
I think looking at it though, I probably would give up the petty theft for this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Sweet.
Very worth it.
That's pretty sweet. Between the normal choices though, it's tough. It's tough because like losing 25 health is a big chunk of health.
Yes.
And it's not that much more money. When you look at the rate of health loss to money gained, the 25 health option gives you a slightly higher rate. It more or less, if you kind of did the other one 5 times, you would get 25 gold less for doing the 5 HP increments.
Yeah.
So it's a slightly more efficient rate, but like it's a big chunk. I usually only just because I'm a scared coward. I usually just go with the 5 HP loss.
Right.
But it does depend. It does obviously depend on how you're doing. If you're cruising, if you have a really strong early start and you get this event early and you're just like I'm crushing people, yeah, go for the 25 HP loss. It's big gold. You can use that gold to snowball even harder, and then hooray.
Yeah. Typically, just don't kill yourself with this event, but money for health is good.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. Historian we talked about. Up next is the Chaos Portal. You get to you come into this event, you get to purge a card. I think the event says purge a card and get a reward. The reward is you get to draft. Oh no, you get a random rare card from either your primary or secondary clan. You get to choose. So, you get to. The big thing to note about this is you can skip the card that you get offered if you don't like it. So this is just an event that lets you purge a card.
Yeah, I didn't realize that the card you put in had an actual factor on it because I always throw in train stewards.
Right.
That's cool. I didn't realize you can put like a primary card in and get a
No. It's just I think you always get a card from you get the choice between a primary clan or secondary clan card. Yeah. Okay. So it's like you'll get to choose between one of the two rare. You just get a random. This event in the worst case is purge a card and gain 10 gold, which is great value as is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good event. Just purge a card, remove shit, replace it, right? Or don't, because you get a bad rare card because they offer you Formless Child for the 100th time. Anything else you want to say about Chaos Portal?
No.
Okay. Fissure is up next. This is the duplication event. You can either duplicate one card one time, or you can duplicate one card 5 times at this event, or you can just leave. End up duplicating none.
Yeah.
Duplicating a card 5 times is, in 99% of cases, bad.
I wouldn't go that far. I would say 80% of the time it's bad.
How many cards can you think of that you would duplicate 5 times and not lose the game off of?
Deranged Brute with multi-strike and +7 rage.
That sounds terrible.
It was good, trust me. I've honestly had times where this has worked well for me.
The only time I ever really duplicate 5 is I duplicate 5 Wildwood Saps every single time.
That's a good one. I do that all the time.
Yeah. Typically you want to duplicate a card that is not going to stay in your deck, right? You want a unit or a consume card. Duplicating a card that stays in your deck is going to really hurt your deck consistency and you are going to struggle.
Also keep in mind that you do want to upgrade a card first before duplicating it, if you can possibly do that. If you have a card where it's like, oh man, well, I guess a general playstyle should be, hey, I should try to get my most important card upgraded so that way if I see hell vents, I can duplicate them.
Yeah.
But you should, keep in mind that this event, if I get 5 copies of my Wildwood Sap with double stack, that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's cool. But for the most part, it's just like, sometimes you don't want a copy card, sometimes you do. You gotta make the decision based on your timing, but typically just duplicate a card that's always good to draw, that you're always happy to see. Up next, Penance Yard we've touched on, but let's go all the way on it, right? There's 3 options at the Penance Yard. Penance Yard, you get the Ember Stasis, which gives you this relic here, which is Ember Stasis. Playing a blight card deals 100 damage to the front enemy unit, and on top of that you get 3 Calcified Embers. The other 2 options are Massive Stones, which gives you Penitent Remains, which I believe is this one. When summoned, friendly units get +1 attack for every blight card in your deck, and this choice also adds 3 dead weights in on you. Or you get Weathered Cold Stones, which is this relic. When your first blight card each turn is played, restore 5 health, but this adds in 3 of the Vengeful Shards. It's like Ember Stasis or nothing, in my opinion, at this event.
Generally, my opinion as well, but I think I can. There is a use case for Remains, and there is a use case, I guess, for Weathered Cold Stones, but I don't like them.
I don't think there's a use case for Penitent
There's
Remains.
better options.
Penitent Remains is really bad. This is giving you +5 attack, and like all of your units get +5 attack, and the downside of that is you have 5 dead draws in your deck instead of 2.
That's not good.
It's not good. Don't take this. You can maybe take Cold Stones. I've experimented with it. It's okay. Because the big thing is you can remove the Vengeful Shards, and then you can just have 1 Vengeful Shard, and occasionally you draw it, and it's just 1 energy, gain 5 health, which is cool.
Yo, but think about Penitent Remains if you already have Dante, though.
It's like your deck is just going to draw nothing but curses.
Yeah, I know. Dante is really gonna pull his weight, dude.
Yeah, I hope.
But he is going to be at start a 10 times 8 unit, just flat right there, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, but
I know it's not good.
It's bad.
But think about it though.
I am thinking about it. That's why I'm saying it's bad.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. The next one on this list is the Abandoned Winged. I'm not really sure I want to talk about this event because it's like this is an event that you can go into a lot on, right? The basics here, let's just talk about the basics and not talk about anything else about it, like what you can get, because cataloging all of those outcomes is a whole separate ordeal, right? Essentially, the way that this event works is you'll run into this guy in an event room, and he'll ask you to give him a card. You can give him a spell or a unit, and it'll be purged from your deck. In 2 combats, he will show back up, and he will have buffed whatever you gave him with a random effect. There are the way that it chooses the random effects are very complex. Is very confused. It's not very complex, but there's a lot of them, and they are seeded, right? So the first one you get will lead into the second one because you'll have the option to leave it with him for longer, and he'll give it a second effect after 1 more combat.
Yeah, it's basically you give him a card, he upgrades it if you kill a boss. And you have the option to give it to him again to get a second upgrade.
Yeah. So you cannot throw him a unit that is important to your build because you will die before you get it back.
My general game plan is to give him an expensive spell that is not important now but will be important later.
Yes, that is a good idea.
I've had it work with Titan's Tooth because it's Titan's Tooth is pretty bad early. But when you get any of the 0 cost upgrades on it, it becomes a pretty sweet spell.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I've used it with Awaken before, or Awake, whatever the 30 heal 4 regen is.
Right. Yeah. Cool. Basically,
I tend to find it to be better to use on an expensive spell in the hopes that it makes the cost become 0, because I believe 2 of the 3 options you can get with the spell upgrades reduces cost to 0 at the second upgrade stage.
Yeah, there's I think there's 3 paths of upgrades that each type of card can get for a total of 6 paths. It's mapped out on the spreadsheet. I'll have a link to it down below, and I'll probably for this section just throw up the spreadsheet and credit it or something like that. I don't know. There'll be a link to this resource for yourself. It's very useful. But But yeah, typically, if you throw this, basically all you have to know is if you throw this guy a unit that is critical to your game plan, you will die before you get that unit back. And don't give him a spell that's critical either, right? Give him something that you can afford to go 3 combats without, and it comes back very strong.
Honestly, I kind of thought this before, but looking at it now as well, like most of the unit upgrades are not great. Like the best one is maybe the revenge buff.
Yeah,
+1 attack, revenge, +1 attack to all friendly units. It's like the only one I even kind of think is useful.
I have only ever seen the extinguish one, so I don't really have too much of a hot take on the unit buffs, right? This event, it's an event that takes a lot of work to figure out. Like because first you have to see the event, then you have to have a unit or a card that makes sense to give him, and then you have to live to see the card again to get some value out of it. It's a hard one to evaluate.
General rule of thumb I'll say is looking at the possible events is that more often than not, if you really want to give it a unit, give it maybe a tank. Tanks are probably the best way to go as far as what units to give it, because DPS units don't seem to benefit too much from the abilities it gives.
Yeah.
And with spells, like I said, because 2 of the options reduce the Ember cost to 0, you generally want to go with an expensive spell to give it as well.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents there that I'll say for what spells to give to the Angel.
Yeah, and honestly, if you don't have an expensive spell to give him, just throw him a starter, because in the worst case, you have a starter out of your deck for 3 combats, and it comes back a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Up next, the Ember Deposits. We kind of hinted at this, but this is, you get to choose between taking this Abandoned Staff relic right here, +1 energy per turn for every 2 blank cards in your deck, or you get to add 3 of the Calcified Embers, which will then, in 2 combats, become Excavated Embers. For my money, just basically always take the Abandoned Stave, because that's +2 energy at High Covenant for the cost of 2 extra cards in your deck. Great value.
That seems pretty sweet. Would you, if you had the Penance Yard, right? You get the Ember Stasis. If you had the Ember Stasis, well, actually, no. Even with the Ember Stasis, I guess probably taking the Abandoned Stave is better because you get the blights that you can play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind. You know, I think this is more or less always take the stave now. I've been convinced.
The only caveat is, like I said, if you're on Low Covenant and you don't start with blights in your deck, this is less good.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. But like, you know, if you're on Low Covenant, you're not really looking for this sort of an answer, right? You don't really need it because, you know, if you don't have any blights in your deck, you're playing on like Covenant 1. Yeah. You don't need to worry about it at all. The next event is the Iceberg, where you get to choose one of 3 relics. You get the Railforger's Hammer, +1 capacity on each floor, the History of the World, +3 capacity on a random floor, or Frozen Nostalgia, -1 capacity on each floor, +15 magic power. I always take Railforger's Hammer at this event.
Yeah, I think it's the better choice usually. I can definitely see maybe like there's a situation where you want History of the World where it's like, oh man, I don't care where I set up this floor, but there's a combination that I need to set up on a floor. I need a lot of space for it.
Yeah.
I guess I can see that. Like if you don't care about which floor you're setting up on, sure, this is fine, I guess. But oftentimes you do care about the floor.
Yeah, like you really care about the floor. Getting that +3 space on like the bottom floor means you might just get run over before you can get fully set up, right? I think that's the big problem I have with History of the World is a lot of the times, unless you're playing a build where you're like basically maybe if you're playing Awoken, right? Because then you're always going to start with your front line no matter what. So it doesn't matter if this sets up on the bottom floor. But I feel like this has a lot of places where it's really bad. Like if you're Stygian, you really don't want to be setting up on the top floor because, you know, Frostbite or Spell Weakness need that extra time from Tethys.
I think that there might be a place for Frozen Nostalgia too. Just the fact, like when we look at the other 2 relics, they are just pure upside, right? Both of these are not negative at all. The Locket, because it has a negative effect, it scares me. But I just looking at it, 15 magic power is a ton. There's got to be a useful place for this. Like maybe in Spell Weakness somehow. I don't know.
It's okay. I've taken it. It's all right. +15 magic power is all right. But for the most part, the big problem with Frozen Nostalgia is like, yeah, Railforger's Hammer is just better. This is a straight up boss upgrade. Like you just get the boss, similar to why you always want to take Abandoned Staff, right? This eliminates the need to take Ember boss card relics. This eliminates the need to take Capacity boss relic.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it's just better in every capacity.
Not in every capacity. I
Most
think
capacities.
there's yeah, I agree. Most capacities. Yes.
If you're playing some weird build where you don't play any units and you just kill enemies with spells, like, holy shit, first of all, what the hell, how'd you do that? And second of all, yeah, probably take Frozen Nostalgia, and I think I never take History of the World. I don't think I ever will. I've taken it once or twice and I've just been like, oh, that's worthless to me. The next one on the list is Dante. We've talked about Dante.
Yeah.
So the next one then is going to be the Abandoned Train. We talked about this one a lot. At least I made sure to make a point of it every time we went. Yeah, this is the event that gives you one of 3 choices, and the 3 choices are just a random consumable from one of 3 clans. If we search consume cards here, we can get a list of all of the cards that have a chance to show up in this event. There are a lot of them. However, as we pointed out in the reviews prior to this, you're typically getting the lowest rarity in each clan. So, Wildwood Sap, Pack Morsels or Space Prism, or Prismal Dust, Hollow Drippings, Rage Serum for Hellhorned, and I think, who's the other one? Stygian, right? Stygian, you get Crystalline Seeds or Urchin Spines typically.
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you typically take of these when you're offered? Like, what's your most common pick? What's your least common pick?
Probably Awoken for most common, just because like Sap is pretty good almost no matter what. And when I play Awoken, I'm almost always taking regen anyway.
Yeah.
And then outside, I think I don't like the melting because like a lot of them are like the consume burnout spell. I'm like, this does nothing.
Yeah, that's like plus 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like typically I'll aim, like you said, Awoken. You can get cards from outside your clan. This is the big thing. It doesn't force you into your clan, right? So you can see like Wildwood Sap as Hellhorned Stygian, for example, which is why I think you basically never want to take melting. Typically, I aim for, like you said, Awoken, and because I've seen Bone Dog's Favor from Stygian, I take Stygian a lot. But for the most part, it's like, yeah, I think they're mostly underwhelming.
Yeah, if you for some reason you're like, oh man, I really need this I need Channel Song. For some reason, you can really try to take, or I need Pyre Grow really badly. Try to take Awoken specifically for a card, but
you will not get it. You will get disappointed.
Yeah, I would say try to go for whatever clan gives you just the most generally good payoff.
Right.
Don't try to snipe a specific card because the odds are low they'll get it.
And in the worst case, this is just worth 10 gold. There is like a small chance that this gives like plus. There's a small chance you get to choose a second and a third time. Right?
Yes.
But basically it's just this event typically in its best case gives you like 20 gold, or maybe you get a card that really synergizes well because you're playing like Rage and you need Rage Serum, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's really all there is to say about it, I think.
You can get Last Stand. Maybe that's like the goal. You play Melting, you get a big slime really angry with Rage, and then you get this event, get the rare drop Last Stand and double his Rage.
Yeah, and then he'll do 15 damage instead of 12 damage. Who, buddy?
Yes. Okay.
Nice. Yeah. Up next, we're closing in on the end here. Actually, this is pretty much the end, isn't it? This is so you'll see the historian, the same guy who gives you the choice of money, but he'll give you one of the tomes, one of the books from each of the clans. There is you get a random selection of 3 out of 5, right? So you'll see 3 out of 5 of the books. There's One Horn's Tome, Wildwood Tome, Umbra Stone. What do you get for Stygian? Oh, you actually get Spike of the Stygian? Really? Oh, wait, am I looking at the wrong event? No, I'm not looking at the wrong event.
You get Unnamed Tome. You get the silence.
You get Unnamed Tome. Okay. I was just like, I'm looking through the rares here, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm with it now. That's right. I forget that the tome that you get from Stygian is the Unnamed Tome, which is uncommon.
Yeah.
So you get One Horns, you get Wildwood, you get Unnamed, you get Umbra Stone, or you get Remnant Pact. How do you feel about this event?
mean, the books are just like we talk about in the books in general. They're often just conditionally useful.
Yeah,
So like, if you are in one of those conditions where it's useful, take the tome. Leave me alone. I don't know why you're asking me about this.
yeah, like there is really not much to say, right? Pick the tome if
Yeah.
it's good, don't pick the tome if it's bad. I believe that this does not give you the option to take the money. I think it just does give you the tome, so you don't get to skip
I believe
it.
so as well.
But, don't go into it with that. That's all there is really to say about it, right? You can get these outside of your faction, so you can get Hellhorn Tome outside of...
Don't feel like you have to take a tome. Like,
Yeah.
very often is going to be the best choice to take none of these.
That's a good general tip, though, right? This is probably the most common mistake I see when I watch someone who's newer to this gameplay. It's just like, yeah, don't take so many cards. You don't have to.
Yeah.
This is a different rail spike event. There's also an event that gives you it lets you choose one of 3 randomly selected spikes, right?
Yeah.
I forget about this event.
Same as the tomes.
Yeah.
They're often more so.
Worse.
I would say they're more often worse.
This event sucks. Yeah, just like past this almost every time.
Especially if you're not in melting and it gives you the melting spike and it's just like, oh, cool, I can kill my units for free.
Oh,
Thanks.
baby, I can just throw the run.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, probably the best case for this is getting Shroud Spike when you're playing Umbra, right? And that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, the last event on this list, is there really anything to say? You get to choose a rare, you just get a rare draft pick. It gives you 3 clan options.
The page here doesn't have much info. I feel like I haven't kept track of it too closely, but I feel like whenever I get this event, the 3 clans given to me are always all 3 of them outside of my clan, but I'm pretty sure that's probably wrong.
I also actually I had the same thought, and I believe that is correct. I was going to if I see that event, I'm gonna probably screenshot it and send it in as like a hey, maybe take a look at this. But I believe that is correct. I believe it does give you a rare draft pick outside of your 2 main clans.
Mm-hmm.
Refer to the rare reviews for our overall feelings about rare cards, but I with the consume cards, I kind of gave this is the clan I think you want to go for with a rare card choice. Probably Umbra or Melting, because you can get Bounty Stalker or Blazing Bolts, in my opinion.
I mean, honestly, I don't think Bounty Stalker is that good outside of Melting, though, if you ask me.
He's all right.
Yeah, you bring him back outside of Melting.
You can just buy Endless from a shop.
That's true. Yeah, good point.
It's not that if you get this early, you can just find him Endless, right? It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're right.
And
although you get Legion, oh boy.
Oh, that sounds ooh buddy. He's also good, right? I typically aim for Melting or basically what I would do, probably a great thing to know, in the middle of a run you can just click the button in the top right and there'll be an option to look at the logbook. You can just look at the cards that you have a chance to be offered and find which clan has the best chance to give you something good.
Or you could just be lazy and not look and guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be lazy, just pick Stygian and try to get Siren Song.
Yeah.
That's it, right? Siren Song, Ice Empire from Stygian, and also I kind of like Offering Monument. I think it's good outside of Stygian.
Yeah. I agree with that, actually.
I think that's it, right? That's all the events?
Yes.
Yeah. Alright. And that's that. We'll do Relics tomorrow, I think, because this video is now 1 hour and 22 minutes long.
Hey, it's shorter?
Yeah, it is shorter. I agree. We were at a real weird timing when we finished the clanless cards, because it was 40 minutes and there's 90 artifacts to go over. That was probably going to take us into 2.5 hour range, right?
Probably.
So, split this video up. More content. More.
Oh my god, there are 90 artifacts. I thought you were joking.
Yeah.
So many.
No, I know. But milking the reviews for all the content we can get. Hell yeah. We're going to be making these reviews for the rest of time. New secret. This is it. This is every video that's coming out ever.
Help.
You'll never be free, Cranberry. We'll be reviewing Monster Train cards forever.
You see... Oh, we can talk about this some other time, but I guess the video's over. Goodbye. Right?
Yeah, pretty much. Thanks for watching.
Smash all the buttons.
Yeah. Break YouTube by hitting the buttons too well. Anything else you'd like to say, Cranberry?
I hope you have a good day.
Whoa, I was gonna say that.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
What
I hope
the
you have
hell?
a bad day.
All right, yeah. Now, I hope you have a bad day. Good cop, bad cop synergy now. Thanks for
No,
watching.
just two bad cops.
Yeah. Bad cop, bad cop. Hope you have a terrible day. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with probably the final video in the series, reviewing the relics. And yeah, stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching these so far. Don't forget to smash every single button you see in all contexts, not just in the context of this video, but if you see a button, make sure you hit it, except for the dislike button. Although I think it doesn't matter, it increases engagement either way, so YouTube will still push the video to new people. Have a good one.